Hey guys, PlayStation 9 here, and today I have a huge stack of movies and games, plus 2 Blu-rays of a TV show I wanted to show you. And first things first, I'm going to show you my 8 PS1 games. 6 of them are first-person shooters. The first one I'm going to show you is an early launch PS1 title from 1995. And it's called Kyleqq, the DNA Imperative. From what I remember, I heard some not so nice things about it. At first I heard its 3D graphics were appealing for the time, but at the same time, in terms of design and gameplay, just making sure it didn't glare. Making sure I got it when it's not glaring. As I was saying, at the same time, in terms of gameplay and design, they weren't nice about it. But here's what the inside, including the disc, looks like. On the back of the manual, you get screenshots for other PS1 titles, including Twisted Metal, Ballerina Toshinden, Mortal Kombat 3, and Ridge Racer. Next up are 2 sequels to Kyleqq, and the first one I'm going to be showing you is from 1996, Epidemic, also known as Kyleqq the Blood. From what I heard, I also heard some not so nice things about it. But here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. And on the back of the manual, you get screenshots for Jumping Flash 2, Beyond the Beyond, Project Horned Owl, in which I ordered from eBay, and I'll be showing you in the next update, and King of Fighters 95. Next up is, from what I heard, is an improvement over the first 2. And it is called Brahma Force, The Assault on Beltlager 9 from 1997. Here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. Next up is another first-person shooter from 1995. And this one is more likely strategy-based, let alone a run-and-gun, fast-paced shoot-'em-up, much like Doom or Wolfenstein or Duke Nukem. And it's called DEFCON 5. Accidentally flipped the manual. But here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. Behind the disc is an advertisement for Dark Sun Shatterlands, and behind the manual is an advertisement for Creature Shock, in which this never came to the US, but I think it came to both Japan and Europe. I could be wrong. It could have been exclusive in Japan, if I remember correctly. tested this on my PS3 and it really works. From what I remember, it requires planning ahead and knowing how your inventory or system works. And I also forgot to mention, I tested all 3 of these, and they all work on my PS3. Well, to be exact, I haven't tested this one out. But Kyleqq and Brahma Force, they work really good on my PS3. So yeah. Next up is from 1997, developed and published by Psygnosis Games, who at the time were most notable for the Wipeout franchise and the Destruction Derby games and others, to name a few. And that is Conamed Tanka, also known overseas as Life Force Tanka. I tested this on my PS3 and this one also works. For a PS1 game back in 1997, the 3D graphics look really good. But here's what the inside, including the disc, looked like. This one looks really interesting. Last first-person shooter in my PS1 stack is from 1996, and originally it was made for the 3DO back in 1994 until Accolade picked up the publishing rights and ported it over to the PS1 2 years later, and that is PO'd. This here is a sprite-based first-person shooter. And the story of this is actually a chef awakens from cryogenic sleep in a spaceship and learns that his crew members were killed by alien invaders. And it's up to the chef to kill them all, much like in Doom, you kill all the demons that invaded the Mars base. This is what the inside, including the disc, looked like. And sadly, the door is broken. This works really good on my PS3, not gonna lie. Alright, the last 2 PS1 games are not exactly first-person shooters, but they're for the Resident Evil collection. I already have these 2 in my PSN library after I owned Resident Evil 6, the Anthology Edition from GameStop. But I wanted to own them in my collection because I love Resident Evil. First one I'm going to show you is the Greatest Hits re-release, Resident Evil 2. Originally, after playing the original 1996 version of Resident Evil 1, I was gonna stream this after, but I decided to play Resident Evil 2 Remake instead. I'll get to this one day down the road if I can. Next up is another Resident Evil game I already own in my PSN library. like I said with Resident Evil 2. And that is Resident Evil 3. This is the one that comes with a demo disc for Dino Crisis. From what I saw on eBay, there are mostly ones without a disc. I mean, without the Dino Crisis 1 disc demo. Here's what the inside looks like, including the discs. Here's a demo for Dino Crisis. From what I saw, this version is really rare, and I'm happy to own it. I love both Resident Evil and Dino Crisis. Alright, that's it for the PS1 games. Oh, I lied. I almost forgot. I have 11 PS1 games in my stack. Alright. There are only 3 of them. First one right here is Air Combat. Played this back at my relative's house back in Colorado, long time ago. Tested this on my PS3 and it works really good. Playing this just brings back some of the memories back at Colorado as a kid. Here's a small booklet containing a catalog of Namco titles for the PS1. I also own Ridge Racer Type 4 and Ridge Racer 1 in my collection. Which I'll show you one day if I ever get a chance to redo my PS1 collection videos. But that'll wait. Just one day I will redo it. Next one up are 2 sequels, in which the series is renamed Ace Combat. Here's Ace Combat 2. Air Combat was made in 1995. Well, released in 1995 to be specific. But this one's made in 1996. I never was into the Ace Combat series, but I really want to give these games a try. Here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. I wanted to try these games because Ace Combat 7 has a VR mode, and for the PS4. Here's Ace Combat 3, made in 1999. In case I wanted to make sure I got it without any glare. Here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. And on the back of the manual, you get an advertisement for Namco Museum Collection games. Alright, that's it for the PS1 stack. Next up, I'm gonna get into the PS4 games I just got recently. And the first one I'm going to show you is from Target. I got Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. I'm really curious to see how its VR mode is. Here's a disc. Next one from Best Buy is actually a VR game called Blood and Truth. It is actually, I believe it's a first-person light gun game. Here's a disc. Next up is from Walmart. I've been dying to play ever since I saw people streaming this on either Twitch or YouTube, including a nice guy on YouTube, Gojira851, has done streams of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, and the gameplay of this one looks really good. I never thought this would win me over, but it did. As a matter of fact, looks really great, and I really want to play it. Thankfully, it was on sale for $40. Not gonna lie. Right here is Doom Eternal. Here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. Here's a mini manual, and right here is an insert that includes an advertisement for the Slayers Club, and behind it is one for Fallout 76 Wastelanders. Here's what it looks like with its alternate cover. Glad I got this for a good deal. One day I'll be streaming it. Thankfully, I own a PS4 Pro. Next up is another VR game made by the same studio who developed Blood and Truth, that being London Studio, and that is PlayStation VR Worlds. Here's what the inside, including the disc, look like, and is an advertisement for Riggs, and behind it is an advertisement for Farpoint, which is actually a VR game. And here's what the alternate cover art looks like. Freaking glare. Next up are 4 PS1 games that, PS4, not PS1. PS4 games from GameStop when there was a sale going on. First one I'm going to show you is Tetris Effect, which includes a VR mode. Here's a disc. Next up right here are 2 games I wanted to try. The last one being my reason of owning a PS4 Pro. And those are the Metro games. First one, that it being the Metro Redo Double Pack. That includes Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Here's the disc. Next up right here is Metro Exodus. I really wanted to give this a try because my brother did a series of Twitch streams on his channel. And from what I saw, the gameplay and the storyline looks really interesting. So yeah, here's what the inside, including the disc, looked like. Well, not exactly the inside, but more likely an insert, which is actually a dynamic theme. I think the code is already used before I got it. And I believe this is a map, or more of a poster that shows all the creatures that are present in Metro Exodus. Happy to own these games for cheap. I already know that Metro Exodus has finally came back on Steam. But those were before it came back on Steam. Alright, the last PS4 game I'm going to show you is Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition. Here's a disc and an insert for Not a Hero, which is a free DLC. Alright. I've shown all the games. Now let's get into the movies. Some of you were new to my channel and were never aware that I've done movie reviews in the past. And as a matter of fact, I have done movie reviews in the past, but most of them are no longer on my channel because I deleted them. But don't worry, they're not going to disappear. They're safely stored in my parents' hard drive. My reason for deleting them is because I didn't want to deal with YouTube's newly updated terms of service. From what I looked at, the categories they've shown are mostly vague, and I honestly didn't want to be under the COPPA compliant categories. But thankfully I didn't fall under that. Alright, the first Blu-ray I'm going to show you is from I can't remember where I got this, but I think it was Walmart, and that is Terminator Dark Fate. I saw this once digitally with my parents, and from what I remembered it being okay. But I thought I'd give this one a revisit, along with having a Terminator marathon. So one day when I get around watching these movies, I'll be doing some videos sharing my personal thoughts on those, and this, as well as Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I saw some episodes of it back when it premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel. Alright, next up are 2 seasons of Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Here they are with their slipcases. And here they are without their slipcases. Freaking glare. Obviously, I can't do 2 things at once. Here's an episode guide. And the discs. One day I'll be binge watching the series as well as binge watching all the Terminator movies. The first two, in my opinion, will always be 10 out of 10. Though to be exact, the second one is more superior. Third one, at first as a kid I thought it was good, but looking back at it, I looked at it more as an okay movie. Fourth one is a slight improvement over the third. Though I wouldn't call it a great movie, but it's decent and I enjoy it. But Terminator Genisys sucked. So here are all the Terminator movies I own in my collection, as well as Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Alright. Those are all the Terminators in my collection. But first, before I end this video here, I have two packages that my father got in the mail. If I can open this up. Oh, at first I thought it was a movie, but it's not. It's actually a PS1 game called Project Horndowl. This one I remember seeing gameplay of it back in my relative's house in Colorado. For some reason, the cover and the entire booklet itself were separated. But anyway, here's what the inside, including the disc, looks like. On the back of the manual, you get an advertisement for PlayStation Mouse and the Konami Enforcer light gun. And this game is compatible with both the mouse and the Enforcer. I'm surprised this came. Never really expected it. But this one, I'm assuming, is a stack of Blu-rays I got from Twilight Time's website. And yes, I've ordered some Twilight Time movies before. If I remember correctly, I've owned about 4 of them. Alright, so in this box I have about 3 movies I ordered from Twilight Time. First one up, from 1996, it is a Canon film starring Charles Bronson called Murphy's Law. From what I heard, their website is going down. So thankfully I got this along with 2 other titles when they're going on sale. Here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. On the back of the booklet is a theatrical poster. Next up is a 1998 Universal Studios production directed by Oliver Stone called Talk Radio. Here's what the inside, including the disc, look like. If only I could get this and not glare. Correction, it's actually a Cineplex Odeon film production from Universal Studios. I do like some of Oliver Stone's movies, like Platoon, JFK, and Born on the 4th of July, and Salvador with James Woods. Alright, the last Twilight Time Blu-ray that I got is actually from 1992, a Brandon Lee starring action film from 20th Century Fox called Rapid Fire. Here's what the inside, including the disc, looks like. Only I can get this and not glare. Here's a theatrical poster art. I got this because Powers Booth stars in this, in which he's no longer with us. I do like some of Powers Booth's movies, like Red Dawn and Southern Comfort, which is an underrated survival thriller. One that nobody ever talks about. So those are all the movies and games I have in my collection. I know this is a really long one, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by, checking out my update, and I will be getting around finishing Days Gone tomorrow, or you know, what am I saying? But tomorrow I will be streaming some Predator Hunting Grounds, along with the Dutch DLC tomorrow morning on Twitch, and then I'll be finishing Days Gone tomorrow. So look forward to that. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.